Right, seen the movie, now let's get on with the review. Roger.
Focus.
Fine, yeah, sure, review. Right.
Come on, focus.
Right, okay, come on.
Would you just focus?
I know. Why can't I write this review? When you go to the cinema and see the trailers before your film, how often do you sit through a trailer that you're just not interested in and forget all about it by the time you leave the cinema? This is how I feel about Night School, the Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish comedy from 2018. This is a film that my wife thinks she saw, but can't remember anything about it. I'm hoping that this film is a hidden gem and not another Clueless. Here's my review of Night School. Teddy Walker is a high school dropout with a job he loves, drives a Porsche, and has a beautiful, successful girlfriend Lisa. He sells barbecues at Jim's Barbecue City and is due to inherit control of the business when Jim retires. Teddy uses this news to propose to Lisa. Unfortunately, although she says yes, the proposal causes the barbecue store to explode and Jim uses the insurance money to retire to Florida. Teddy is offered a job with his friend Marvin, but he needs to go back to high school to obtain his GED. Teddy agrees but decides to keep it a secret from his fiancée. Teddy, thinking that this will be a simple process, heads back to his high school but finds that the head teacher is Stuart, someone Teddy bullied when they went to school together. Stuart doesn't want Teddy to get his GED, but the night school teacher Carrie says anyone is welcome. Teddy and the night school class struggle with the material, and so Teddy suggests that they steal the midterm test in a heist. They succeed, but Carrie knows they cheated because everyone got a perfect score. She threatens to expel everyone, but Teddy owns up and she kicks him out instead. Teddy begs her the next day to give him another chance, and she accepts on the condition that he be tested for learning difficulties. Turns out he has dyslexia, dyscalculia, and processing issues. Carrie, now knowing this, uses alternate teaching methods to teach him, such as fighting him in an MMA ring. On the final lesson of night school, the class dismiss early and head to the prom. This, however, is where Lisa finds out everything that he's been hiding. The fact that he's a high school dropout, the fact that he's been taking night school, and the fact that he's been working during the day at Christian Fried Chicken. The lies cause Lisa to remove her ring and leave him. Stuart apologizes to Teddy the next day, and Carrie convinces him to take the GED test. Everyone in night school passes, except Teddy, who fails a further 3 times and passes on his 5th attempt. At the graduation ceremony, Lisa comes back and the two reconcile after Teddy gives a speech about second chances. I've reviewed a few comedies over the years with a mixture of results: enjoyment, boredom, outright offended, but never have I come across a comedy that is as by the numbers and predictable as Night School. This is one of the blandest films I've ever seen, but that's not to say it's all bad. Imagine, if you will, 3 different steaks. One is unseasoned and although cooked properly is perfectly good, it's not something you're going to go out your way to recommend. The next is overly seasoned and cooked all wrong, something you'll remember for all the wrong reasons and tell people to avoid. The third is seasoned perfectly and cooked to perfection, something you'll recommend to carnivores everywhere. Night School is the first steak. It's a perfectly serviceable, straightforward film, but it's nothing special and it's not something I'll say I'll go back to. Kevin Hart plays every other character he's played in live action, and his character is not a nice guy for about 80% of the film. Lisa deserves better. She is almost flawless as a character. Carrie is a teacher that cares, but is such a stereotype that she doesn't stand out as a co-lead. As far as stereotypes go, the rest of the class are characterized by stereotype or single character trait. Mackenzie, dumb. Jalen, paranoid about robots taking over. Teresa, bored housewife. Mila, hipster dropout. Bobby, in jail. Louise, a Hispanic waiter who Teddy got fired and holds a grudge against him. Or at least he does initially. They seem to get over their issues rather suddenly. Louise at one point even refers to him as best friends. When did that happen? Most of the class could be removed with little to no impact to the story. The only one who has a tiny piece of character growth is Teresa, who learns to stand up to her husband and take time for herself. That's it though. Most are in the same or similar situation than when they started it. The characters are one-dimensional, the acting is adequate, the story is by the numbers, and so what is there left to recommend? The humour? I mean, it's okay. A couple of moments made me smile, but the scene that sums it up for me is Carrie locking in a lethal looking submission, at which point Teddy gives the correct answer. This heartwarming moment is then immediately undercut by a fart joke. It's a shame because the scenes in the hexagon are the moments I'm most invested in. Honestly, is Octagon trademarked by UFC? To give positive for a moment, I like how Teddy's learning difficulties are shown on screen, with words and numbers flying off of the page or screen, with Teddy trying to wrangle them back on to understand it. I feel it's a great way of having the viewer understand what he's going through. It seems the majority of the reviews agree too, with the film getting a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. It did well financially, much better than I was expecting, earning $103.1 million on a $29 million budget. Really, the film's real-life financials are the perfect allegory for the character of Teddy himself, punching well above his weight and succeeding more than perhaps he deserves to. To be honest, I'm finding it really tough to talk about this film any more than I have done already, so I did something I haven't done before. I watched other YouTuber reviews to find points to look at. Typically I avoid these until after I've published, but I had a real writer's block trying to critique this film. The consensus I got that was Romani Malco as Jalen was a standout, and Tiffany Haddish really shows her range. I disagree with Jalen's character standing out. I found him rather forgettable, and I really haven't seen Tiffany Haddish in anything else. One thing that everyone says though is that Girls Trip is one to watch. Maybe I'll get to that one day. Night School is Kevin Hart's first writing credit for a movie, and it feels safe, not venturing into anything outside his comfort zone, and it kind of shows. Night School is about as predictable and by the numbers as you can get for a comedy set in the late 2010s. It's nowhere near as bad as Holmes and Watson, but I'd recommend films like Game Night or Bridesmaids for a film released around about this period, for a much more fun time. Night School barely scrapes by with a passing grade, and should probably try to earn extra credit. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, please give this video a like and share it on social media. Maybe leave a comment below about what you thought of this video. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe for more content. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can buy merchandise at bradleyj.tmail.com, where you can buy t-shirts, tote bags and more. Or you can become a Patreon at www.patreon.com/BradleyJVoices for just £1 a month. Coming up next for the Film Review Open Challenge is Grimsby. For now though, thank you very much for watching.